Hiya! So this video is quite different to other videos I've done because my camera is broken. This video review is quite overdue as well, so everything's going so well. I'm going to talk about Series 11, Episode 6 of Doctor Who, and believe it or not, it was fabulous. It was such an improvement from last episode. We meet Yaz's family again. Yes, we meet the whole clan, including the grandmother, which is what this episode is based around. Yaz was so interested in seeing the past and how it impacted the future, which is a really bittersweet episode. But wait, we kind of had a historical kind of episode with Rosa, didn't we? Going back in time, and you can really affect the future, as is the Doctor Who thing where, you know, you go back in time but you can't touch anything because it can really mess with the whole timeline. It was a lovely reference to Remembrance Day. If I did upload the episode review yesterday, it would make a bit more sense because it was Remembrance Day yesterday. It was also nice to have the episode on Remembrance Day, because in the episode there were puppies in the location and it was really bittersweet, and they were talking about war a lot, and because it was set in 1947, this episode, so it was a really bittersweet episode in that sense because, yeah, war impacted a lot of people and change history forever, really. There were more sciencey, wine-y things going on. It was I'm still adjusting my eyes to the camera. It was really fantastic to see more sciencey stuff, though. The teleporter, I think, for the monsters, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, there was, ooh! Wow, I jumped, but I'll just continue. So this is sciencey wincy because the monsters use the teleporter things to kind of travel and transport themselves. Monsters are not monsters, but the humans are monsters. We've seen this before. Okay, I love the concept, and I'm talking about 11 Good, 2 Bad. I like the monsters are not monsters, but the humans are not monsters because in a sense, wow, I'm really jumbling everything together this time. In a sense, the monsters did look very intimidating. There's also reference to guns in this episode, as most episodes in the series is, which is a good thing to bring up because guns are really, really not necessary. I mean, when you think of the war, when you think of atrocities that happen because of guns, it's just, I know you can have an argument, but other things can kill people too, and it's people who kill people, but still, if guns didn't exist, I think there'll be a lot less of a risk to humanity. It was a very emotional episode at that, which is why I loved it a lot more compared to the other episode, as I mentioned to one of my friends today. Last episode, it was very messy in that they had a lot of plots and they decided to mesh it together and see what would work, whereas this one had kind of a story to go along. It wasn't completely random at all. But yeah, as I said, it was very emotional too. I couldn't have any emotional attachment to the last episode, which was one of the reasons why it was a fail. But in this episode, you had the gunshot. They had to observe that brother being killed, which is really, really, really sad. But yeah, if they did meddle with it, then Yaz wouldn't exist, which would be, yeah, really sad. Also the souls, oh my lord, I almost cried. I think it was one of the last scenes where the monsters actually took the dead brother's soul, and you panned up and you can see all these souls, and it kind of is reference to the war as well, but you know, death in general, it's really sad. And today we lost Stanley, So yeah, it's quite sad. The emotional thing was the very last scene when Yaz was talking to her grandmother, and it was so bittersweet and sad. And I love you, and I don't want to know about what happened to that watch. So artists can read things like a timestamp 100%. That's why they went back in time, because of that broken watch. And for some reason the TARDIS could read it. They go back to 1947. Monsters are monsters in a sense, because for the first time in this series, the monsters actually affected the Doctor. You saw in this episode that the Doctor right at the beginning did have all these kind of vision things going on with her. And that's why it was a demon. It was kind of affecting her in a bad way, and it felt like hell. I love going back in time, but I'd love to go to the future. Not like last episode. I'd like to go to the future, but properly. There is potential for good episodes because of this episode, and because of Rosa, and because of the first episode. If I was to give a favorite for the series so far, I would have to say Rosa, just for the sake of my beliefs and such. But if I discluded that, I would say Rosa and this episode are on par. This is going to be very bold, but I'm going to be bold in this and say that Yaz's family, hear me out here, Yaz's family are there to build Yaz's importance. Without Yaz's family, Yaz probably would be such a weak companion. Yaz is not doing enough. Her family is doing more, if that makes any sense. At the moment, it's not enough. And maybe something more dramatic will happen in this series. I don't know, which gets on to the second point. What is going on? There isn't... As I said in previous Doctor Who reviews, there is no true arc, unless we're kind of blinded and we have to figure out what is the real arc of the series. But right now, it's just a whole lot of blah, 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 introduction to Jodie, because Jodie is amazing. I don't discredit that. But still, blah, 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 we have no idea what's going on. We're just going to throw these stories. Please let me know what you think about anything said in this review, any contradictions, whatever. Please let me know. And if you like this episode, if you like the previous episode, please let me know why. Everyone has their own opinions, but please let me know why. Okay, so I'll see you next review.